Glorification of the Lord. Of course, this is such a beautiful festival because we have the Julan Yatra, the swing festival of Radha and Krishna, for 4 days every morning, and then leading up to the full moon, which is today, the full moon, the appearance of Lord Balarama. So I'd just like to read a little bit here. Garba Sanshashanatam Vai Prahu Sankashanam Bhuvi Rameti Loka Ramanad Balabhadram Balotrayat. Translation: the son of Rohini will also be celebrated as Sankashan because of being sent from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. He will be called Rama because of his ability to please all the inhabitants of Gokula. And he will be known as Balabhadra because of his extensive physical strength. Purport, these are some of the reasons why Balaram is known as Sankashan, Balaram, or sometimes Rama. In the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. People sometimes object when Rama is accepted as Balaram. But although devotees of Lord Rama may object, they should know that there is no difference between Balarama and Lord Rama. Here in Srimad Bhagavatam, it clearly states that Balaram is also known as Rama, Rameti. Therefore, it is not artificial for us to speak of Lord Balaram as Lord Rama. Jayanti Goswami also speaks of 3 Ramas: Purusha Rama, Raghupati Rama, and Balarama. All of them are Ramas. So today we're celebrating the anniversary of the appearance of Lord Balaram some 5,000 years ago. Lord Balaram appeared just before the advent of Lord Krishna, which we're going to be celebrating next week, the birthday of Lord Krishna. So today is the birthday of Lord Balaram. So Lord Balaram, here, previously to this verse, of course, King Kamsa had imprisoned his sister Devaki and her husband Vasudeva and kept them in iron shackles in the cell. And her 6 children that were born from her were killed by Kamsa. So Devaki was always in anxiety, fearing that when is Kamsa going to kill my next baby, and so on. So it is mentioned here that the Supreme Lord as Paramatma, Vishvatma, he is referred to here as Vishvatma, the Lord within. The Lord is within all of us, the Lord is everywhere, he knows all things. So to alleviate the situation, he spoke to his energy, his Shakti Yogamaya. And he was speaking in this way: within the womb of Devaki is my partial plenary expansion known as Sankashan or Sesha. Without difficulty, transfer him into the womb of Rohini. So, of course, this was in Mathura, where Vasudeva and Devaki were imprisoned. And Rohini, another one of Vasudeva's wives, had gone, as had many had fled. Many had fled the atrocities of King Kamsa and had gone to different areas. So Rohini was living in the home of Nanda and Jasoda. And so here the Lord is instructing his energy, his Shakti, his Yogamaya. You transfer the Lord my plenary portion. Plenary means full expansion. My plenary portion is within the womb of Devaki. Transfer him to the womb of Rohini, another one of the wives of Vasudeva. So it is mentioned here that Yogamaya bowed down before the Lord and circumambulated him, and went out to carry out her task and transfer. Now it seemed that the news went around that Devaki had suffered a miscarriage, and she lost the child. And Kamsa, along with everybody else, of course, he was feigning, compassion for his sister because she lost the child. Of course, previously he had just killed all the other children. So demons are like that. They can show to be your friend one minute, and they can be your enemy the other minute. Such is the position of those asuras or demons who are in the mode of ignorance. They're very much affected and conditioned, and they can just turn just like that. So Kamsa, even though he had killed the previous children, all of a sudden he was showing compassion. Oh, poor Devaki, she had a miscarriage. And so he was acting like that. But it was all a pretense. And so, but then that child, Sankarsha, now it is said that the 6 children before, we'll speak more about this next week, but the 6 children had previously been the sons of Marichi who had been cursed to take birth as asuras. They took birth as the sons of Kalanemi and the grandsons of Hiranyakashipu, and then later cursed by Hiranyakashipu himself to be killed by their father. They were representatives of lust, greed, anger. So it is said that in the material condition there's all sorts of lust, greed, anger, and so on. And so to prepare for the coming of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the situation has to be purified of all that. And so they were there, and it is said when they were killed, they returned to their former position. But all the lust, greed, anger, and so on was destroyed, and then Balaram came to further purify and prepare the situation in the womb of Devaki. So he is known as he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is known as the Servitor Godhead. And so he appeared in that way, and then after he was transferred. Now, when Yogamaya took him over to the womb of Rohini, she was also pregnant, and so she woke, and she, in a dream, she thought that she had a miscarriage, and in the dream, Yogamaya spoke to her and said, "I'm switching this child of yours in the womb now with the Lord Balaram or Lord Sesha." So, and actually when she woke, she indeed saw that was the situation, and she was already, so she learned of her position. So all this is explained by the Acharyas in their explanation of the appearance of Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna. So the Lord was transferred in this way, and he appeared on the full moon. And here it is said that there are different types of expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I mentioned that Lord Balaram plays the role of the Servitor Godhead, although he is actually, there's different expansions such as Swayam Prakash, Swayam Vilas, Swayam Prabhav, and Swayam Vaibhav, and so on and so forth. He is a full expansion of the Lord, but he serves the Lord, and he serves the Lord in all the different rasas. The Lord, there are different mellows, different relationships one can have with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as Shanta Rasa and Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, Madhurya Rasa. Neutrality. So the Lord Balaram expands himself in Shanta Rasa. And in Shanta Rasa, he expands himself as the abode, the Vrindavan Dham abode. And so whole abode of Vrindavan is an expansion of Lord Balaram. And even the clothes that Krishna wears, they're not ordinary clothes, they're spiritual. And actually they're expansion of Lord Balaram. His crown, his jewelry, everything is an expansion of Lord Balaram. So this is the expansion of Lord Balaram in the Shantaras, in neutrality. And of course Lord Balaram expands in the Dasyaras in that he serves, he is a servant, he prepares things. So in this way, he is considered like the original spiritual master. Of course, Krishna is Adiguru, but then Balaram is original spiritual master. When it comes to Radhastami, we'll also hear that she is considered the spiritual master. She is especially considered the spiritual master of Vrindavan. She's the queen of Vrindavan. She is the guru as far as intimate, loving exchanges with Krishna. She is the guru. But as far as just serving Krishna in general, it is said that Lord Balaram, he is the guru. And because he shows how to serve Krishna in so many ways, by the abode, by the paraphernalia, by making all sorts of arrangements, and so on and so forth. So this is the way he serves the Lord in the Dasyaras. Sakyaras, of course, we know when Krishna and Balaram go and play in the fields, taking the cows and so on. They play, and they just play all day. Sometimes when we're children, I remember when I was a child, I thought to myself, I wish I could just live my whole life, I could play all day. Didn't have to do anything else. I would just play. So Krishna and Balaram, they would just play all day. They go out and they play with their friends. And when you're young, you know, your friends are everything. You have to be with your friends. Later on you get married and your whole life becomes something else. But when you're young, your friends are everything. So Krishna and Balaram. So Balaram is the friend. So he serves the Lord in Sakyaras as the friend of Krishna, assisting Krishna in friendship. And there's so many different pastimes and leelas as far as Lord Balaram. We can read a little bit about those leelas in the Sakyaras. And then of course in the Vatsalyaras, he is the elder brother. Because he appeared as the elder brother, sometimes he instructs Krishna, sometimes he chastises Krishna as the elder. Just like the elder brother, especially in Indian culture, the elder brother would be given respect, that he would be the leader, the elder brother. So as the elder brother, he manifests that relationship in Vatsalya. And then Madhurya Rasi, in the Madhurya Rasi, in the sweet intimate relationships, there has to be, he manifests as Ananga Manjari. He's one of the Manjaris, the young gopis, the young girls who assist, especially they assist Srimati Radharani in her loving affairs with Krishna. The Manjaris especially, there are all sorts of different groups of Manjaris even, and when Radharani, sometimes she's a bit embarrassed to enact very intimate pastimes with Krishna in front of even Lalita and Vishaka, she asked that she goes just by herself with Krishna, and she asks the Manjaris to come and help in those pastimes. So he is manifested in the Madhurya Ras as Ananga Manjari. So, and of course, in all the rasas, and then as far as the work of the expansions in the spiritual world, he is doing all that work also. He's serving the Lord in that way. In that, in Dwarka, there is the manifestation of Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradumna, Aniruddha. And then from there, there's another, in the Vaikuntha, there is another manifestation of Chatuvyuha. And then from that Sankarshan comes Mahavishnu. We've been talking about Mahavishnu, and all the planetary systems emanate from Lord Mahavishnu. Then in each planet, in each universe, there's Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And then from the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu comes Chirodakshaya Vishnu. All these expansions of the Vishnus for maintaining the material world are actual expansions of Lord Balaram. So we see what a wonderful personality Lord Balaram. Because it is said Krishna, original Krishna, Shamsundar Krishna, he doesn't concern himself with all these things. He's just enjoying with Srimati Radharani in Vrindavan. And for other things, he expands himself in so many different ways, even though he knows exactly what's going on. So Lord Balaram is very, very special. He is, as I mentioned, he is like our spiritual master. One prays to the spiritual master for spiritual strength. Here, Prabhupada, as we read, Prabhupada also explains that the meaning of Rama, one who gives pleasure. Rama means one who gives pleasure. Bala means strength. Of course, there's physical strength, certainly. The Lord, in one sense, doesn't have physical strength. He has spiritual strength, although you can make a difference there, because the spiritual strength is to bring one closer to Krishna, make one strong. But on top of that, Lord Balaram has immense physical strength, unlimited physical strength. So Balarama, one who possesses, or Balabhadra, one who possesses unlimited strength and gives unlimited pleasure. Because Krishna means the one who can attract everyone. He attracts even Lord Balaram. So, Lord Balaram, we see today the deities are looking very beautiful. We see the Krishna Balaram, and how Krishna... One time Prabhupada said that there's no difference between Krishna and Balaram, in that one is white and the other one is black. Practically there's no difference. But on further explanation, especially by the different acharyas, we can find that there are different moods and different functions and so on and so forth. In one sense they are one and the same, non-different, but they are also different as well. So, of course, when in the spiritual realm, this is Nitya Leela in Vrindavan and so on. Of course, Balaram is there in Dwarka, Balaram is there in Mathura. In the spiritual world, there's Vrindavan, there's Mathura, there's Dwarka, and Balaram is present in all those situations. And all these leelas, all these activities are they're not ordinary activities. This is a realm far beyond this world, spiritual realm, at the top position of the spiritual realm. And there, Lord Balaram is in all those positions. And those activities are Nitya Leela, eternal leelas that are going on in so many different ways. Now, when Krishna comes to this world, and Lord Balaram comes, then we have the Nitya Leela, but we have also what's called Naimitika Leela, which Naimitika Leela means the occasional pastimes where sometimes some asuras come, some demons come to disrupt the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, or the pastimes of Krishna and the cowherd boys, or the inhabitants of Vrindavan. These are occasional pastimes, because in the spiritual world there's no asuras as such. There's no disruption by asuras. We don't have asuras coming in. We don't have Agasura going in Vrindavan. There's a big snake demon up there in Vrindavan of the spiritual world. No, he's not there. He's there in another form, perhaps. He's not there. So these pastimes that we read about, there's many different wonderful stories about Lord Balaram. And of course, every day, as I mentioned, they would the cowherd boys, when they were young, they would go out, Krishna and Balaram, and they would enjoy in different ways. But as I also mentioned, there will be occasional pastimes, just like as mentioned here, the pastime of Dhanukasura. And who can remember? Dhanuka means ass, the donkey. But this was not an ordinary donkey. He was a demon donkey. And so this is a very famous pastime that involves Lord Balaram. So now this Dhanukasura, now all these asuras were all allies of Kamsa. Kamsa had even imprisoned his own father, who was such a demon, and imprisoned Vasudeva and Devaki. He was going to kill his sister even at the time of her marriage, when there's a prophecy, came that her eighth child would kill him. He took out his sword and was going to cut off her head right then and there. He's such a demon. But Vasudeva dissuaded him. But then he locked him up, imprisoned his own father. And he had gone round conquering all the kingdoms, all everywhere. And he had conquered all these asuras who had to become his like subordinates and more like slaves. Who was the witch? Who is the witch? Putana. There's a wonderful story of Putana, how she was a witch and very powerful. She was very famous, and no one. And she was causing havoc everywhere, and no one could restrain her. But then Kamsa came there and was able to restrain her, and in this way Putana became the servant of Kamsa. Even the wrestlers Mushtika and Chanura, they were subdued by Kamsa. So all these demons, Dhanuka, all these demons. Jarasandha, Jarasandha had previously gone to Mathura. He was also on a quest to conquer everywhere, and he'd gone to Mathura, and he brought one big elephant called Valiyapita, who was like an invincible elephant. And he was going to let him loose and run through everywhere, killing all the soldiers of Kamsa. But Kamsa got him and threw him back over to Jarasandha. So Jarasandha made an alliance with Kamsa, and he gave the daughters Asti and Prapti. So he was like the only one that had the alliance with Kamsa. But all the other asuras, so this Dhanukasura, Dhanukasura was terrorizing the forest, so no one could go there. He was as strong as 100,000 lions, not an ordinary ass. His body was like a mountain, and he'd gone into that forest enjoying the fruits there. Now, the cowherd boys knew about Dhanuka, but they thought that they wanted these nice fruits to offer to Krishna and Balaram. So on the plea of just wanting the fruits themselves, they said, let us go there, we'd really like those fruits. But their intention was to offer them to Krishna and Balaram. So Krishna and Balaram agreed, so they went there. So we know the story. There's a very wonderful story told here, but I'll just tell one, two, we can maybe tell some more later on. He was taking a midday nap, Dhanukasura. But when Lord Balaram came in and there was a bit of commotion, he woke him up, and he was very angry that he was just abruptly awoken from his sleep. He made an ugly sound. So Dhanuka immediately came there and attacked Balaram and hit him with his rear legs. But then Balaram got back up and threw him 8 miles. This hurt Dhanukasura's head very badly. This is the description. And he fell unconscious. But then he got up again and attacked the cowherd boys in a terrible 4-horned form. Sri Ram hit him with a stick. Subal punched him. Stoka Krishna whipped him with a rope. Arjuna and Amsu threw him. Vishal and Rishabh kicked him. Tejasvi tried to strangle him. Devaprasa slapped him. Varotapa hit him with a ball. Then Krishna threw him onto Govardhana hill, and he was unconscious for an hour. But then he got up, staring at Lord Krishna with crooked eyes. He was blazing. And then the demon came there and swallowed Krishna. But then Lord Krishna made himself like a blazing fire and was burning Dhanukasura like anything. On the verge of death, the frightened demon vomited up the flaming Lord. Then the demon assumed his normal form and grabbed Krishna with his horns and flew into the sky. But Krishna threw him down again and knocked him unconscious. But then he got up again. Pretty amazing Leela. Then Dhanukasura uprooted the whole Govardhana hill and threw it at Krishna. Krishna caught it, threw it back. Hit by the mountain, the demon vomited blood and fell unconscious. Dhanuka picked up the hill and threw it back again. And so did Krishna. Then he attacked Balarama again. And the Lord grabbed him. How did the Lord deal with it? Well, some say the hind legs and some say the front legs. He twirled him around, woo, 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 and threw him. into the tal trees. And there was a domino effect, all the trees fell over. And that was the end of Dhanukasura. But just then, a very effulgent form came out of the body of the big demon and rose up and rose into the sky. He manifested a splendid and handsome dark form, decorated with forest flower garland. Then a chariot all of a sudden appeared, filled with the Lord's associates, decorated with thousands of flags, rumbling with 1,000 wheels, pulled by 10,000 horses. And there were many chamras, studded with many jewels, very long, travelled as fast as the mind. And the demon circumambulated Krishna and Balaram, and then filling the directions with light, he ascended the chariot and went to Goloka, Vrindavan. Jai, Dhanukasura ki jai. So that's one story of Balaram. And there's so many stories we can tell, but perhaps we're running out of time this morning, so we can come back again at 10:30 for the Abhisheka, and then if we've got time we can tell some more stories of Lord Balaram. Lord Balarama ki jai. Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Balaram Jayanti ki jai.